Welcome back to The Parent Guide. I'm Matt Bulkley. Over the last 25 years as a psychotherapist specializing in adolescent male development and compulsive sexual behaviors, I've sat in my office with hundreds of families, and almost every single story starts with a parent saying the exact same thing. They say something like, well, Matt, I had no idea. He was just in his room on his phone, and I thought he was playing games or talking to friends on social media. Well, parents, if you're watching this, you are likely here because something in your gut is telling you that your teenage son is struggling. And in today's hyper-connected world, high-potency internet pornography is accessible 24 hours a day right from the palm of a teenager's hand. And what often begins is a simple biological curiosity can quickly hijack a developing brain's reward system, turning into a compulsive coping mechanism for stress or anxiety or loneliness. Because shame forces this issue into the dark, teen boys almost never come to us directly and say, hey, mom and dad, I'm stuck. Instead, the cry for help shows up in behavioral, emotional, and social shifts. So in this video, we're going to walk through the 5 most common red flags based on clinical research and decades of frontline practice. And more importantly, we're going to talk about real evidence-based solutions that work. So stick with me. Well, let's dive into red flag number 1, extreme screen secrecy and unexplained tech habits. So let me be clear here. Every teenager wants privacy, and wanting a closed door to do homework or chat with friends. It's completely normal development. But when pornography use becomes compulsive, normal privacy twists into intense defensive secrecy. So here's what to watch for. Rapid tab switching. So does he aggressively swipe down screens or close laptop lids the second you walk into the room? Constant history clearing. Is his browser history perpetually wipe clean, or is he using incognito modes 100% of the time? Watch for vault apps. Is he using hidden file vault apps like the calculator app that require a secret passcode to unlock photos, or encrypted message platforms that are designed for disappearing media? Things like device guarding. Does he react with intense anxiety or anger if you pick up his phone to check the time? When a teen is terrified of being caught, his relationships with his device becomes guarded and hypervigilant. So remember, it's not just about privacy anymore. It's about protection of an addiction. So red flag number 2 is emotional dysregulation and sudden personality shifts. And to understand this, we have to talk about neurobiology for a moment here. Explicit online content floods the young brain with artificial spikes of dopamine and levels that really, the real life simply cannot match. And over time, the brain adjusts to these massive rushes, which severely impacts a teen's ability to regulate his day-to-day mood. So when he isn't sitting in front of a screen, or when you place limits on his technology, his brain undergoes a low-level withdrawal. You might notice things like unprovoked irritability, so snapping over minor requests like doing chores or sitting down for dinner. You notice a flat affect, looking emotionally numb or unmotivated or constantly bored by everyday life. Notice low frustration tolerance, giving up instantly on homework or tasks that require sustained effort. So if your typically easygoing son has suddenly turned into emotional powder keg whenever screens are taken away, well, his brain chemistry is telling you a story. Red flag number 3 is social withdrawal and loss of interest in hobbies. As the pornography compulsion deepens, real world rewards start losing their appeal. This is called anhedonia. And you'll see young men who used to live for soccer or guitar or hanging out with their buddies suddenly pull back. They drop out of teams, they stop practicing their hobbies, and they spend hours isolated in their bedrooms. The virtual world begins to replace the effort that's required to maintain real world relationships. And that leads us right into red flag number 4, which is disturbed sleep patterns and constant fatigue. In the clinical world, we see a huge pattern of revenge, bedtime procrastination, or late night compulsive viewing. So when the house goes quiet around 11 p.m. or midnight, the temptation peaks. So pay attention if your teen consistently has trouble waking up for school despite going to bed early, relies heavily on high caffeine energy drinks just to function in the afternoon, has dark circles under his eyes, or sleeps 14 hours straight on the weekends. Late night screen use, it sabotages the REM sleep, leaving his mind and his body perpetually exhausted. Parents, red flag number 5 is perhaps the most concerning long-term effect, and that is distorted views on relationships and objectification. High-potency pornography teaches young, impressionable minds a completely false script about intimacy, about consent, about healthy relationships. It strips away empathy, romance, and mutual respect, replacing them with objectification and performance. You might hear your son make dismissive or overly sexualized or cynical comments about young women or his female peers, and he might start viewing relationships as transactional rather than relational. When a teen boy's primary teacher on sexuality is an internet algorithm, his real-world capacity to connect deeply with others gets severely damaged. So parents, if you are recognizing 2, 3, or maybe all 5 of these red flags in your home today, I want you to, take a deep breath. Shame tells parents that they failed, and shame tells teen boys that they're broken, but neither is true. This is a brain-based habit, and with the right evidence-based tools, teens recover from this every single day. And I want to share with you 2 specialized interventions that we use directly in our clinical work. So 1, recovery toolbox for teens. For families that are looking for a structured home-based or outpatient approach, this bundle is designed specifically for adolescents. It includes the Breaking Free workbook, the 101 Tips for Quitting Porn workbook, and a dedicated parent guide. And it utilizes cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, techniques, things like relapse tracking and practical daily skill building. Gives your son concrete tools to understand why he turns to screens and how to stop, while giving you as a parent a roadmap to support him without shaming him. And then second is Star Guide's wilderness therapy. When the compulsion is deep, when tech boundaries at home keep breaking down, or when co-occurring issues like severe anxiety or social withdrawal are present, an outpatient approach isn't always enough. And that's where Star Guide's wilderness therapy comes in. Star Guides is a specialized, clinically intense wilderness program located in St. George, Utah. And by completely removing digital devices and stepping into nature, teens undergo a true digital detox. Guided by licensed clinicians, young men learn to process the underlying emotional drivers of their behavior, and they build authentic self-esteem, and they master healthy coping mechanisms in this beautiful outdoor setting. Well, parenting through this issue is one of the hardest things that you will ever do, but you do not have to do it alone. If you want to dive deeper, I put links in the description below to order Recovery Toolbox for Teens, and also to learn more about Star Guide's wilderness therapy. And you'll also find links to our podcast and additional free parent resources. Parents, if the video was helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for weekly updates, and leave a comment below. Sharing these videos helps other struggling parents to find the answers when they need them the most. And remember, healing starts with awareness, and connection is the opposite of addiction. Parents, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.